Now, your health, your safety. This is ABC7 News.
The reality is, and people are asking about this, will the public health order get extended? The likelihood that that will happen is very likely.
San Francisco's mayor saying today the shelter-at-home order could last a few weeks more or even a month longer. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here online. I'm Dan Ashley.
And I'm Larry Beal. The NFL Draft is airing live right now on ABC7. So we're streaming today's newscast on ABC7news.com, the ABC7 News app, and wherever you do your streaming. So let's start with today's headlines. More than 50,000 people in the United States have now died of coronavirus. According to Johns Hopkins University, the total now stands at 51,017. President Trump has signed another stimulus bill. The $484 billion bill provides aid to employers and hospitals, and federal analysts are now predicting that the combination of these relief laws and a recession will lead to a federal deficit of $3.7 trillion this year. 10 people have died of coronavirus at a residential care facility in Redwood City. Gordon Manor is located in the Palm Park neighborhood off of State Highway 84. ABC7 News reporter Chris Wynn has more on the reaction this afternoon from facility staff and county health officials.
Feelings of pain, anguish, and sadness at Gordon Manor Residential Home Care, which has served Redwood City since 1983.
So it's not unfamiliar to me to be with people at the end of their life and to celebrate them.
But in recent weeks, at least 10 residents have died from the novel coronavirus or from complications related to it. Roughly 10 other residents and 7 staff members have also tested positive.
Well, every single one of us are having trouble adjusting. This is not the way humans want to be.
Former Stanford President Donald Kennedy, who also served as head of the FDA, was perhaps the facility's most well-known resident. He died this week after contracting COVID-19, a death that hit Gordon Manor director Elisa Malari II very hard as an alum of Stanford herself.
What he prepared for me back when I was a kid, I could give back to him here at the end of his life, and I'm incredibly honored to have known him.
New data reveals more than 5,400 residents and employees at assisted living facilities across California have contracted COVID-19, and of those, more than 530 people have died.
It's really hard to contain these outbreaks in these facilities because of the fact that the residents require a lot of personal assistance.
Dr. Marina Martin, chief of geriatric medicine at Stanford School of Medicine, called Gordon Manor one of the area's top facilities for those suffering from dementia.
It's very hard for these residents to be removed from the one place that they're really comfortable with people who know them well and have been caring for them for a long time.
The San Mateo Department of Public Health is now embedded at the facility to help mitigate the infection and to fill in for workers who have called out sick.
In this pandemic, our ability to connect with each other and be with each other is impaired by the masks, the PPE, the distance, the contagion.
Necessary precautions as they try to prevent further tragedies. In Redwood City, Chris Wynn, ABC7 News.
A number of nursing homes in the Bay Area have had residents contract coronavirus, and some of them have died. The I-Team has been looking into these facilities, and you can read the I-Team stories on our website, abc7news.com/I-Team. And if you have a question or a concern, that's also how you can contact them. Again, that is abc7news.com/I-Team. Dan?
Larry, now, besides hinting that the stay-at-home order will be extended, Mayor London Breed in San Francisco is also urging people to respect the public health order, especially this weekend when the weather is expected to be very nice. People are encouraged to remain indoors, all but the people of one neighborhood. Here's ABC7 News reporter Leah Melendez to explain.
With a beautiful weekend ahead, Mayor London Breed said don't give in to temptation and continue to shelter in place.
Stay at home. Go out and get fresh air if we need it, and keep our distance from people when we're outside. The mask does not mean that you can come closer to people.
The Mission District is the only neighborhood where people are being told to leave their homes to be tested for COVID-19. This resident was putting up flyers with information.
They're just trying to get a track record of how many people, how concentrated it is in the Mission.
4 outdoor testing sites will be up and running beginning tomorrow through Tuesday. Volunteers were out again today urging people to sign up.
It's been really frustrating being at home for the past few weeks and not feeling like there's anything we can do to help.
Are you registering?
Yes, we are.
2 tests will be available, a swab test with results within 72 hours, and a second test which will detect for COVID-19 antibodies.
It definitely says that you've had COVID, your body's been exposed to it, and your body fought it off, and now you have antibodies.
Those results will take between 3 and 4 weeks, and scientists don't know if those antibodies will protect you next time.
The irony in all of this is that some of the people coordinating this testing were also on the front line of the AIDS epidemic in the 1980s.
Dion Jones was one of the nurses in the AIDS ward 5B back in the early 80s.
Here we are again, right?
UCSF is hoping to test more than 5,000 residents here.
Identify the people who have active disease, either symptomatic or asymptomatic, and then be able to support them and their households in the necessary self-isolation for 14 days, and that's huge.
Huge because it could save lives and help slow down the spread from one neighborhood to another. In San Francisco, Leanne Melendez, ABC7 News.
Mayor Breed today also responded to the issue of people confronting others who are not wearing masks in the city. She says now is not the time for confrontation, but for kindness.
If you're not a police officer, please don't act like you're a police officer. We have police officers to police our streets, and what we don't want to happen is the continued animosity towards someone who appears to not be following the directive, and an altercation occurs.
The mayor reminds us that masks are not required for outdoor walks, jogs, or bike rides, but they must be worn at essential businesses or on transit and the like. Larry?
President Trump is now walking back his confounding suggestion that scientists should test whether disinfectants could be injected inside the human body to fight the coronavirus. I want to play for you exactly what he said yesterday.
I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number of the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me.
Mr. Trump today said he was just being sarcastic with that comment, but what he said yesterday left White House officials scratching their heads and medical experts and the makers of disinfectants warning people not to inject or ingest cleaning products. ABC7 News reporter Stephanie Sierra has more.
Most people already know that bleach and other disinfectants are not suitable for consumption or injection under any circumstances. But in the wake of President Trump's comments, which he now admits were sarcastic, Bay Area-based Clorox released a statement saying, quote, "It's critical that everyone understands the facts in order to keep themselves safe and healthy, which is why we continue to educate people about how to use disinfectants safely and effectively against COVID-19. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had pointed words about the president's remarks.
Unfortunately, we're seeing Republicans make comments with zero connection to science and facts. Clearly and sadly, the president is not listening to medical experts, and I don't know which ones he is listening to, if any.
The makers of Lysol also weighed in, saying, quote, "We must be clear that under no circumstance should our disinfectant products be administered into the human body through injection, ingestion, or any other route."
Potentially, it could be very life-threatening.
Raymond Ho with California Poison Control says it's essentially injecting dangerous acid-based chemicals into your bloodstream.
And if you're not injecting properly, you can also introduce air bubbles into your bloodstream.
The warning comes as poison control centers nationwide are already dealing with a spike in calls. To put it in perspective, in the last 6 months of 2019, the California Poison Control Center received roughly 50 to 70 calls from consumers concerned about exposure to disinfectants. That number spiked to 200 this past March alone.
These are not things that are approved to be injected.
Poison Control has already received reports of people soaking their fruits and veggies in bleach, which, again, is not safe to do. Stephanie Sierra, ABC7 News.
Dan, I know there's a lot of confusion with the coronavirus. How do we deal with this pandemic? But I think we can all agree the one thing we don't want to be doing is ingesting bleach or Lysol or anything like that.
Absolutely not. And the president, you know, his words matter. And he got into some hot water, remember, a few weeks ago, Larry, when he talked up that anti-malaria medication, hydroxychloroquine, and it divided the medical community again. People, you know, when he speaks, people do tend to respond, so we have to be cautious. Well, today, Governor Newsom announced a first-of-its-kind free food delivery program to help at-risk seniors and revitalize the state's restaurant industry.
This partnership will allow for the ability for restaurants to start rehiring people or keep people currently employed and start preparing meals, 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, and have those meals delivered to our seniors all throughout the state of California.
The governor says the program will select the restaurants and identify which seniors are eligible. Here are the guidelines. Seniors who are at high risk of exposure to COVID-19 top the list. Ones that have already been impacted or exposed directly or have compromised immune systems. And seniors with finances below 600% of federal poverty guidelines, which is about $75,000 for one person. Seniors can call 211 or log on to covid19.ca.gov to get more information about this. Well, what started out as a way to show appreciation for frontline hospital workers is turning into a lifesaver for those who lost their jobs in the restaurant industry. So many people have been affected by that. ABC7 News reporter David Louie explains how a simple fundraising campaign turned into a circle of support.
It's lunchtime, and 35 meals are on their way from Limon Rotisserie Restaurant to the frontline health team at Mills Peninsula Medical Center.
A quarter chicken, our famous rotisserie chicken, with white jasmine rice, salad, and sauteed green beans.
35 meals 3 times a day, supported by a GoFundMe campaign started by Burlingame resident Jeff DiMartini.
We started seeing donations up and down the peninsula, the East Bay. A doctor at UCSF who lives in San Francisco donated.
Close to $65,000 has poured in that is also helping to support local restaurants who had to lay off staff. The campaign created a circle of support, part morale booster and part economic stimulator.
At the beginning, we had to lay off 85% of our staff, but little by little, we've been able to bring back, now we're back up to 65-70% of our staff.
The president of the Broadway Burlingame Business Improvement District says it reflects the spirit of a closely knit community.
They're saving lives. It's a wonderful partnership with the restaurants and with the hospital to do this joint effort.
Dozens of restaurants are participating. The idea is catching on in other cities across the country. And what started out as a 1-month project is getting extended.
As long as people keep donating, we'll keep doing it.
In Burlingame, David Louie, ABC7 News.
Hundreds of families on the peninsula took advantage of a massive drive-through food giveaway. This video is from Sky 7 of a long line of cars leading up to Mills Montessori, where the city of South San Francisco, the Second Harvest Food Bank, and Hope Ministries provided food for 750 families. Look at that line of cars to pick up that food. So many people began lining up before the event started. Organizers decided to begin handing out the food early. Each person was given enough food to last a family an entire week.
You don't realize how many people have a need until you see lines like this. We know you're suffering. We are in empathy with you, and we're doing what we can to help you out.
It's really helpful because, you know, right now we are not working, we're not getting any kind of help. And that one for all the community, sincerely, it's really helpful.
South San Francisco officials say they're working to organize additional food giveaways. At this point, they're looking at the 2nd and 4th Fridays in May and June, also at Mills Montessori.
A group of distinguished professionals held an online forum today talking about discrimination directed at Asian Americans in the era of the coronavirus. They were trying to pinpoint the root cause of a recent spate of attacks.
The underpinning of much of those resentment towards Chinese Americans comes from the fact that we are at war with China. It's a hybrid war, info war and economic war, that may move to something more serious than that. And that is why many Chinese Americans now are joining the peace movements.
Like health directors, but even in the United
Judge Tang says the Trump administration's comments referring to the COVID-19 pandemic as the Chinese virus certainly did not help. One of the panelists included ABC7 News anchor Dion Lim, who's been reporting extensively about the rise in anti-Asian American attacks here in the Bay Area. ABC7 has launched new streaming apps, so wherever you are, you can get your live newscasts, breaking news, weather, sports, and more with our new ABC7 Bay Area app on Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV, and Roku. All you have to do is search ABC7 Bay Area and download for free.
Well, Sky 7 is live over a section of Highway 101 in San Francisco where a closure is underway for a construction project that has been years in the making. The detour should not cause too many problems with shelter in place right now, but neighbors do have a few concerns. You see the area that we're talking about on this map. ABC 7 News reporter Amy Hollyfield has the story.
The very loud equipment fired up at 5 o'clock this morning. You can see the scope of the project from Drone View 7. Sheltering in place means less traffic on the roads, so Caltrans pounced on the opportunity and moved this project up from its scheduled July date. But sheltering at home also means people are working from home. Listening to this.
All morning, and I'm trying to have conversations with students. I'm a therapist for SF Unified School District, and so it's just a little disruptive.
Crews are demolishing the 70-year-old bridge deck on Highway 101 in San Francisco at Alamany Circle. Here is a look at the detour now in place. Drivers on northbound Highway 101 going into San Francisco will now be diverted onto Interstate 280. The backup was minimal this morning now that traffic is so light. Caltrans says the crews are using a saw to cut the deck to try and cut down on the noise.
And there's some jackhammering going on right now. We're trying to minimize that because jackhammering is a little bit louder, and we're trying to respect the neighborhood as much as we possibly can. Saw cutting is a little bit quieter of an operation, and it's a little bit cleaner.
As far as timing, now or July, the neighborhood recognizes the pros and the cons.
I think it's a good time to. It's less cars, less people traveling, and I mean, if we were out traveling a lot more often, it would cause a lot of more traffic and delays.
I mean, it has to be done. It just feels very inconvenient right now, but when is a good time?
There will be times in this project when southbound 101 is shut down, so you'll want to follow this closely if this is your route. The project is expected to take 10 days with work going on around the clock. In San Francisco, Amy Hollyfield, ABC7 News.
All right, hope you're spending a little time outside today and the next couple of days. Our weather really doesn't get much better than this. Unfortunately, the current times are not allowing us to take full advantage and head to the beach. This is a live picture from the boardwalk in Santa Cruz. As you can see, nobody really on it. ABC 7 News South Bay community journalist Dustin Dorsey explains what's being done to make sure stay-at-home orders are not being violated.
2 weeks ago, the beaches and waters of Santa Cruz were completely empty, a ghost town, as the county put in regulation to close all parks and beaches. Fast forward to today, looks like status quo has returned once again, as you can see by the dozens of surfers in the water.
What we're really asking is for people to stay in their neighborhoods, stay in their community. Normally, we'd love to have you come to the beach, we'd love to have you come to the boardwalk, but now is not the right time.
In common times, it's not uncommon to see plenty of people from all over the Bay Area recreating along West Cliff Drive in Santa Cruz. Today looked like one of those beautiful days of the past where there was no care for social distance on land or on the water. But still, there are reminders in place that show right now is anything but normal, and rules need to be followed.
People are allowed to go out and recreate, but when you do that, you still need to maintain social distance. And what we would ask is people use some common sense. If you decided to go for a walk and you get there and it's crowded, plan your walk for a different time. No different than people surfing.
This is not what city and county officials want to see. The county is working on different ways to promote these guidelines through education and not enforcement to explain the risk of spread.
We have written tickets. We don't want to write tickets. We want people to do this for their own best interest and for the community's best interest. So there is enforcement occurring. People are getting tickets, but that's not our first step.
So what happens if you choose to visit Santa Cruz from outside the county or not maintain a social distance?
I know that Santa Cruz police, they have written hundreds of tickets. Those fines can be upwards of $1,000. But more importantly, you are risking yourself, you're risking your community, you're risking your family, and you really have to ask yourself, is this essential?
In Santa Cruz, Dustin Dorsey, ABC7 News.
Dan, you know how much of a beach and surf guy I am, so I'm just looking at those pictures, and it's agonizing to think, oh my goodness, it's right there. I'd love to just jump in the water, but we just can't do it right now, no matter how nice the weather is.
I know that is tempting for you and for everyone, Larry. I know how much you love the beach, but we can go outside, Spencer, and enjoy some time outside. We just have to do it responsibly, safely, and according to the rules.
That is absolutely correct, and this is fantastic weather for doing just that. So let's take a look at what's going on. Here's a look at Live Doppler 7. As you no doubt know, we have sunny skies all across the Bay Area right now, and we have breezy conditions as well. Current wind speeds range from 15 to over 25 miles per hour. That pattern is going to bring fog back to the coast this evening. We're still warming up, though, even with the strong breezes. 24-hour temperature change shows many locations 4 to about 8 degrees warmer than they were this time yesterday. And here's a look at some temperature readings. 70 right now in San Francisco, 72 in Oakland, 82 in Redwood City, 81 San Jose, Gilroy 86, and 63 at Half Moon Bay. We have some warmer readings than that. 89 right now at Santa Rosa, 79 Petaluma, Napa 81, 92 degrees at Fairfield, 88 at Concord, 86 at Livermore. And on we go to our forecast features. We'll have a cooler pattern this weekend. That's going to start tomorrow. Marine layer will return. That'll start tonight. We'll have strong onshore winds. And then next week, our next warm wave will begin early next week. Here's our forecast animation. Notice we start the evening with clear skies, but fog and low clouds return to the coast, assisted by that strong wind flow. So we start the day tomorrow morning with some high clouds inland and low clouds near the coast and bay. And we'll see mainly sunny skies going into the evening hours tomorrow, except the clouds will return to the coast and bay, much like tonight. Overnight lows tonight will be generally in the mid-50s, so it'll be relatively mild, even as we expect a cool down tomorrow. Highs tomorrow will range from only about 60, maybe 61 at the coast, to mid-70s generally around the bay shoreline, to low and mid-80s inland. Then it gets a little bit cooler on Sunday, especially near the coast and bay. Upper 50s near the coast, mainly upper 60s around the bay, a couple of low 80s inland. Pretty much the same picture on Monday, but we start to warm up again early on Tuesday. And here's the AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Check out the weekend, the cool down, the breezy conditions, and then the sharp return of warmth on Tuesday of next week. High temperatures will be in the upper 80s to near 90 in the warmest inland locations, and then we'll just have a gradual tapering off of temperatures later in the week. Dan, Larry?
Ooh, 90. That is getting steamy. Thanks, Spencer.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know for everybody, it's like Groundhog Day. Same thing. It's hard to keep track when you're sheltering in place. So this is a public service reminder that this is Friday. We're going into the weekend. It's April the 24th. They probably know that we're going into the weekend. They can't wait. It's day 39 of our shelter in place. And unfortunately, it's a difficult, bewildering time for high school seniors. Their graduation ceremonies are canceled. No matter how high their achievements, incoming freshmen are looking at a really disappointing start to college life. They don't even know if classes are going to start in the fall. ABC7 News anchor Eric Thomas tells us how that's affecting a Pittsburgh honor student who's in a really rare position.
For Pittsburgh High senior Evelyn Silva Rosales, 4 years of track and 3 years of cross country have led to this.
So these are some of the trophies that I got.
And for a lot of students, that would be enough. But teachers say Evelyn is different, a scholastic hard charger.
She's has the most tenacious personality in that she will set a goal for herself and she will not quit.
That, and tenacious D as in discipline, is what led to her being accepted by every university she applied to.
I thought I would get into some of my safety schools, but I never would have imagined that I would have gone into all 10 of the universities I applied to.
After visiting the campus, Evelyn has chosen to go to UCLA. It's only two problems with that. One, there will be no elaborate graduation ceremony here at Pittsburgh High.
And two, as Lauren Cook with the Western Association of College Admission Counseling told our Kristen Z, it's not certain yet that choosing a university means you'll be living at that university.
It is an unknown about opening in the fall. I think that colleges are starting to be transparent about the fact that they're talking about it, whether it might be online learning, where they might actually not have a fall semester.
I just hope that we will be able to have that experience and that I can explore, become more independent, and focus on myself and focus on my career in the future.
But right now, that focus may be a little cloudy as universities try to figure out whether there will be campus life this fall in the year of COVID-19. In Pittsburgh, Eric Thomas, ABC7 News.
And here at ABC7, we're honoring the class of 2020 who've had to forego their graduation ceremonies and other milestones because of this pandemic. Luis Orozco is graduating from the Aspire Lionel Wilson College Preparatory Academy in Oakland. Luis's mom says missing these milestones is especially tough for Luis because he got to watch two older siblings experience them. It was just waiting for his time, but mom adds that Luis is smart, handsome, quirky, and excited about his future. So we say, congratulations, Luis.
We sure do, Larry. Thanks. And this is a great story, as you know, Larry. A nail salon closed under the shelter-in-place order has turned itself into kind of a hub of mask making, and now thousands of them are being donated to medical workers. ABC7 News reporter Leslie Brinkley has the story about these ABC7 stars and their remarkable transformation.
Isabella Nail Bar in Montclair is closed for manicures and pedicures, but it's now abuzz with mask making.
How do you take a nail salon and turn it into a mask making factory?
A lot of our staff can sew. Most of them back home, they work for factory that make clothing.
The owner of the salon teamed up with a friend with the idea.
We started this probably middle of March. Our original goal was 10 women sewing 100 masks. That would be 1,000 masks.
The duo established a nonprofit called It Takes a Village. Donated fabric from Berkeley clothing store Bryn Walker, along with mobilizing 150 volunteers, has created this miraculous little empire. They've already donated 9,600 of these masks to hospitals in San Francisco and Alameda counties. They're right now making 22,000 more, along with 7,000 of these face shields.
Coca-Cola donated plastic on a 3,500-pound roll that we are laser cutting at a shop in Oakland.
And they're assembling the shields here at the nail salon. Others iron the masks destined for frontline healthcare workers. There's also the money raised on a GoFundMe page that's buying thousands of KN95 masks and N95s.
I know we're at war, and when the wartime happens, it's the community pulled together that's get it through.
In Oakland, I'm Leslie Brinkley, ABC7 News.
Just a terrific effort. If you would like to nominate someone to be an ABC7 star, just go to our website, abc7news.com/stars. Larry, a lot of people doing great work.
Yes, and it's wonderful that we can recognize them. 6 puppies are headed from the Bay Area to Colorado today to begin a lifetime of service and companionship. These adorable puppies are part of the Canine Companions program, providing guide dogs to people with disabilities. Oh, so cute and tiny. Normally, these puppies would fly commercially to volunteer puppy raisers across the nation, but the airlines, of course, have scaled back so many of their flights. Today's flight from Santa Rosa to Colorado is being done by private pilots who donated their time. Look at these little guys. They donated their time, planes, and fuel to get these 8-week-old golden labs off to their new homes. We could just stream an hour video of these guys and everybody would be happy with that.
Yes.
Drivers, right? I'd rather watch them than us, I think. Drivers in a long line of cars waited for free pet food today in the East Bay. Pet owners were lining up outside the East Bay SPCA for its weekly free cat and dog food distribution event. The organization says they're hearing from pet owners who are just not able to feed their animals during the pandemic. The SPCA says they'll have enough supplies to hold future pet food giveaways, but they're also looking for donations to support this effort.
Well, like so much of what's happened since the pandemic hit, Sunday's return of American Idol is unprecedented. For the first time in the show's 18-year history, Ryan Seacrest will host from his home. Reporter Sandy Kenyon has a preview.
They are 2 of 20 finalists trying to become the next American Idol. The performer known as Just Sam came to fame on the subway. Another hopeful, Julia Gargano, hails from Staten Island.
Both of those would be 2 of the people I could see going really far on the show.
Bobby Bones is the show's mentor, facing a tough challenge along with the celebrity judges and the host Ryan Seacrest, mounting the live portion of their series in the midst of a quarantine.
We will have to start 24 different locations, all from everyone's home in the safety of their own home.
Call it a Back to the Future approach.
We're going to deliver the season as planned, just with a bit of distance.
Contestants will be recorded to guard against any internet glitches.
There can be fuzz, and what we don't want on this show is for any circumstance that is out of our control to affect a performance.
There's a hint of nostalgia here, as Ryan explained to his 4.9 million followers on Instagram.
This desk is the original desk that Randy, Paula, and Simon had, and so it was in my garage in storage.
The old desk represents a return to the show's roots.
Yes, I think it's going to give a whole new twist to this thing. I think we're going to get outstanding performances.
Kelly Ripa joined Ryan to promote their live show with Tamron Hall and look ahead to Idol's return.
It shows that we can make it work with what we have.
Sandy Kenyon, ABC News, New York.
Getting creative, you can watch American Idol Sunday nights at 8 p.m. right here on ABC7. And tomorrow, legendary singer Tony Bennett will perform his iconic song, I Left My Heart in San Francisco, to honor the city's frontline medical workers, and you are invited to sing along. The Fairmont Hotel is in the spirit of the moment. The Bennett statue in front of the landmark now features a mask, as you can see. Of course, Bennett first sang the ballad for the first time at the Fairmont's Venetian Room. That was in 1961. The mass sing-along begins at noon tomorrow. The 93-year-old says San Francisco's effort to bend the curve has been an inspiration to the world. 93, Larry, he's still going strong. Amazing.
Yeah, you can sing. I don't think Tony wants me in the sing-along. I don't want to mess it up. He doesn't want that. Nobody wants that. Arnaudo, a young Australian boy who's having a really tough time right now because his name is Corona, and as you can imagine, he's just being bullied unmercifully because of his name. But a well-known actor has stepped in to try to help with a special gift and has handed friendship. Here's reporter Charles Croucher with the story.
It's a particularly tough time to be named Corona.
Coronavirus. They just kept on saying that, and I get really mad.
Instead of getting mad, Corona DeVries got writing and picked a very impressive pen pal.
Dear Mr. and Mrs. Hank, my name is Corona. I heard on the news you and your wife have caught the coronavirus. Are you okay?
Corona grew up knowing Tom Hanks as Woody from Toy Story, but after a package arrived on the Gold Coast, this 8-year-old knows the Oscar winner as his friend from the letters.
Yes, very special, because I always feel like I'm famous. He said I'm a friend of him.
The letter begins, Dear friend Corona, your letter made my wife and I feel so wonderful. And ends, I thought this typewriter would suit you. Ask a grown-up how it works and use it to write me back.
It says my name on it. Oh my God.
The letter signed off with a handwritten note. P.S. You've got a friend in me.
Over the moon, I think, was an understatement. He was ecstatic.
Hanks is back in the US, where he recently hosted Saturday Night Live from his house, showing off his Australian accent.
What's the right proper way to get a daily dose of your Vegemite?
And his collection of typewriters, minus that one that tonight is safely in Corona's care.
And I'm going to write back soon.
This is the coolest story. I mean, I didn't know Tom Hanks was into typewriters. But to just even write and give the gift, I mean, we're all Tom Hanks fans, and I guess we're even bigger Tom Hanks fans now. That's incredible.
Yeah, he's such a generous, big-hearted guy. And what a nice thing to reach out to that young man. That you feel for that kid. But
Yeah.
We'll get past that, and he will too. All right, well, coming up on ABC7, the NFL Draft is underway right now, followed by ABC7 News at 8:30. We have a special edition of ABC7 News at 8:30 for you tonight on ABC7. At 9:30, catch Localish, more in common. At 10, it's Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune, and then we'll be back with you for ABC7 News at 11.
All right, thanks for joining us for this special edition online of ABC7 News at 4. I'm Larry Beal.
And I'm Dan Ashley. Our next newscast is on ABC7 again tonight at 8:30 following the NFL Draft. We appreciate your time. Have a good rest of your day.